Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with If I Could Choose Only One Work by Composer X, it would have to be Work P. Well, Composer X is the French master Henri Dutilleux, one of the great composers of the second half of the 20th century. And the work in question is Métaboles, whatever you want to call it. It's a musical metabolism, if you want to call it that, too. It has a digestive system. And as it digests the ideas, they are transformed and broken down and reassembled into other ideas. It's really very cool. A wonderful work. Dutilleux was a major craftsman. And he's a difficult composer to pigeonhole. He's kind of like Faya, or one of those guys. And that he didn't write a lot of music. And everything that he did write matters just about, because it's all really serious stuff. He worked for years on individual works, and then he revised them. And so it's really very difficult to pick just one piece. But his mature work is all completely typical and utterly characteristic. Métaboles may be the most popular, to the extent anything he wrote is popular, the most frequently performed of any of his pieces. It's about 20 minutes long, and it has emotional signifiers for each section. It's like flamboyant and torpid, and it's kind of rather nifty adjectival things, and it's essentially a set of variations. But the ideas, some of them are melodic. There's an actual passacaglia in there, where you have a repeated bass. Some of them are textural, as, for example, the very opening, which is a sort of primal chant thing with percussion and woodwinds squealing on top. And then at the very end, all of these different moods come back and are combined in a big, huge, flamboyant, which is one of the things there, climax that ends, quite surprisingly, as his music mostly does, in a nice major cadence. There's a nice firm tonal ending, even though the music can go very far afield. And he was not actually a traditionally tonal composer. He was more of a sound and texture guy and a chord guy rather than a line guy. He was all about fantastic combinations of instruments and ear-catching timbres. Really remarkable person, and just about the nicest person I ever met. He was modest, he was pleasant, he was enjoyable. I met him at the Cannes Classical Awards, where we gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award, and he was just the most gracious human being you'll ever want to know. Now, Métaboles was a Cleveland Orchestra commission, and it was premiered by the Cleveland Orchestra under George Saul, and there's a live recording of them doing it, which is quite splendid. But it's actually been recorded now, must be at least half a dozen times, maybe more, which is really remarkable considering it's kind of tough to put together a Dutilleux program in the sense that none of his pieces are terribly long, and you have to do all Dutilleux, basically, because you're not going to stick Métaboles on a program with something else. I mean, I can do it in part of fabulous concert programs, actually. I think I do, now that you mention it. But he makes for wonderful individual discs. So if you get Métaboles, and you get, for example, the Second Symphony or the First Symphony or Timbre, Espace, Mouvement, which is another beautiful work, you're going to get wonderful music, no matter what you do. So when we're presenting something to the evil god Cankresans, I don't think we need to do an album, because everything he did is typical and wonderfully characteristic. And if we just do Métaboles and say to him, you don't want to destroy everything else by this guy, it's all so good. How can you say that this is better than that when he put so much love and care into each and every piece of music that he wrote? It would be a crime to only allow one work to survive. It's a small and particular body of work. In fact, what I would say to the god Cankresans is, you don't have to do anything. Dutilleux has already done it for us. He's only left us the best. And there is no excuse for picking and choosing between them. And here's an example of the best. There you go. Listen to that. Isn't it marvelous? And I think we'd be in business. I really do. So that's my view of Dutilleux's work. And, you know, you may have different ones because you'll have different favorite pieces. But that's what it comes down to. It comes down to this is your favorite or that's your favorite, not this is better than that. And that's the point we need to keep in mind. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.